All right, man. Who? It's your boy, Chasta Thunder, your pastor's favorite DJ. We're back again, once again, bringing you the top 10 dopest album covers of 2020. I am your boy, Chasta Thunder, your pastor's favorite DJ. I'm with my guy,
Mr MediaX. I'm out here. What's up? I hope everyone is good. And yeah, definitely shout out to all the whack designers, whack artists out there. We hope you're keeping up to date with what we're done. This is for you guys more than anyone else.
So this thing so far has been going really well. We've been able to come once a week, put a dope review together. Media bring his one, I bring my one, we chop it up, and we just decided where it is. Media today was Patelek, dog.
Yeah, man. No, I've got some dope stuff out here. Obviously, in terms of review, I think results says I put some in terms of just bringing some quality to the game. I think, as per standard, you brought a shocker to the table. So yeah. I'm definitely.
For those who didn't see the last episode, check this out.
Yeah, no. Last episode, you came back with the heat, man. But I think today, you've probably dropped. It's probably gonna be, I think, your biggest shocker of just the entire. I don't think you'll go lower than you've gone today.
But the last time, apparently, I went low was with the 40 bars. Got Nadia.
Exactly.
So is this lower than that?
Hey man, we'll let the streets decide. But yeah, man, you know what you did. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
All right, let's snap it. So my selection for this week is the cover by Jay Electronica for Jay Elec's debut album. It was written. Yeah, I think that's my choice, man. I think I don't think it's gonna be the high end of the scale for the stuff that especially when you look at like the stuff we deciphered last week. So the creative team, by the way, the album cover was shot by Beyonce Knowles. So that's a plug right there for Jay Elect. So obviously Beyonce is a bit of a photographer out here, and then there's an assumption that there's a street skater / designer called Jimmy Gorecki. I think that's how Jimmy Gorecki. Yeah, I think that's how. I'm sure he had something to do with adding the finishing touches to this cover. But yeah, that's my pick.
Wasn't this a collaboration album with him and Jay-Z?
The album. Listen, bro. It was his debut album. It was a debut album. If you want us to get into the music, don't worry, we'll get into the music. We're gonna have a show.
Okay, let's get into the cover, because the cover is quite interesting. And I'm seeing. I don't know. When I look at the cover, there's a mood it creates in me.
Yeah. 100%, bro. 100%. I think the idea apparently around it, or what's being said around, is that it's a photograph of Beyonce's pool. So I did a lot of reading up on this, and funnily enough, when you do a lot of reading up on a certain content piece, you start realizing there's the same press release that's just going around to absolutely everyone. And this is Miss Knowles' pool, man. So that's apparently a picture by Beyonce. She played photographer out here, and for me, I'm not mad at it. It's a dope cover.
Okay, man. Concept. Like to actually get into it.
All right. So the title, the big idea, the relevance.
Sure.
Conceptually, so obviously the album title is called The Written Testimony. But
Sounds
I think,
very Yes, it sounds very what's the word? Biblical. The written
Yeah,
testament,
yeah.
yeah.
Even if you look at how they've, I think they've almost tried to put it together as like an ancient tablet of sorts. When you look at it. So,
An
but
ancient scribe.
yeah, exactly. So conceptually, from my side, though, it's called a written testament. And when I kind of look at that and I look at the big idea of what's going on, did it connect through the visual that they chose for this? I gave it a 2 out of 10 for the concept.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, I think it's a dope cover. I don't think it's going to be at the highest end of our scale, but a written testimony, and then I see the cover. I've got a little bit of feeling of that because of the type of character that Jay Electronica is. He can kind of get away with a lot. As we've been seeing with someone like Kanye, where it's almost like he's starting to try to get away with a lot of whack stuff just because his name is.
Okay. And then your thoughts on the type and the writing.
I think I'll touch on that when we get to the visuals. How do you look at what's your concept? What's your look on the concept?
The written testimony. I think so. From what I saw and from what I gather, I think it's written in Arabic. So when I saw that, I automatically thought of Islam. So, and then I quickly then started to look at the references of what Islamic art looks like.
Sure.
Yeah. So in terms of the concept, it's a 5 because I could see a pattern of art that exists in that type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I'm tempted to get into the type, so I want to wait for you first before I start him jumping the gun.
Well, I think the type then would be so out of concept you gave it a 5. Next we go on the visual then, and I think this is where we hit the conversation of the typography and that kind of approach to things. So my rating for the visual, I gave it a 7 out of 10. I'm a big fan of the visual, bro. Big fan of the visual.
Sure.
Talk to me. How do you look at the visual?
10, bro. That's.
You gave it a what?
You show way like it's a 10.
No, I said I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Oh, okay. For me, dog, it's also a 5. The written testimony, a picture taken by the pool. I don't know.
Yeah. What for the visual?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got my motivations. You know what I'm saying?
Like media, I feel like this artwork specifically could have been done on Instagram. Have you seen Insta Live story?
Sure.
Insta Live, Instagram, where you touch this you make it small, to find a white background. I just feel like it's more like a 5-minute job.
So with this visual, you just compared the album art to an Instagram post.
Hey, Insta story. It's that quick.
I mean, I could get where you're coming. I could get where you're coming from there, and hence why I for me I aligned that more to a lack of connecting conceptually. I still think visually for me, I mean, bro. Okay, look, man. I think I appreciated going white on white. If there's a Ricky Ross track where he's like, he's white on white. What does he say on hustling? I don't know, man. But he talks about being white on white.
Sure.
Like it takes guts, bro. It takes guts to you know what I'm saying, to execute a typography that is wide.
And then we find it from shadow, so we can just see what's he calling.
You know what I'm saying? So like, dude.
Fucking what I'm saying. Come on.
You also gotta understand that this was shot by Beyonce as well, G. Like that automatically takes it to 5. So, I think you're gonna have some Beehive members coming at you, bro. I mean, I think visually it's a beautiful visual. I can't. In fact, for me, the visual is the strongest part about this. I like the visual, man. I like the visual.
Let me show you. It's people who Beyonce is a great artist, but now I feel like we also now giving her a free pass on the basis of her being a dope musician. Art is a different story, bro.
Pass and everything, bro. What's wrong with you?
For example, it's a nigga example. For example, Diesel, Lowe Squadra has been responsible for Amakava Azagwe. All of Amakava ga Uzagwe.
Oh.
So he designs. He's a graphic designer. So he's done a lot of albums for Zagwe, and in fact, a lot of other cats. Even the Squadra Camp, he was the guy who was doing those covers. But we never heard with Frontline go push a cover to push the sales of the for people to say, yo, bruh, if we thought Zagwe wasn't dope enough, his cover is also as dope because it's designed by an artist. No, bro. Like Leo, it's good, it's cool information to know, but it doesn't add any prestige to the art. And right now, I feel like you're trying to sell me this artwork based on the fact that Beyonce had a hand in this.
Bro, did you see how she captured the? Look at this, bro. Let me look at my PC here, bro. Just leave it on pay, bro. And I already got the problem, pal. Look at that, bro. Look at how like the what's the technique called where like the Photoshop technique where like the reflection.
Hey baba. Baba. Oh yeah, dude, like you're saying, it was taken from a swimming pool, so of course there's gonna be reflection on the water.
Yeah. But still, Beyonce swimming pool. Pastor, man, I think this is a hard image. I think they use such a wide scope. I think the mystery that's created just from, I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't know that's, in fact, one of the first things that happened is that when this image came out, people were like, what's that an image of? What, there was lots of questions going on around it. And that's why then, it was kind of put out that no, it was actually leaked. Leaked. It was, it's a photograph of Beyonce's pool. Because before people were told what this image was, they didn't know what it was. And for me, that speaks to a, mysterious, and I mean, that's the kind of guy Jay Electronica is. He's, he's a mystery and stuff, bro. So, I
agree. I think Nami, I'm not gonna act as if I've been following Uche for the longest time. This was the first project I actually heard, and I actually got to understand a lot of things about him. In fact, about his faith, because in the opening intro, he's got Ufero Khan with an opening speech sack. So that's when I heard that, I was like, okay, I kind of get this guy's thinking, because I know Ufero Khan and what he's famous for. So, and also when I saw the type and how it was treated, I was like, oh, okay, that was another link to me understanding who Jay is. So he's an Islamic rapper, he's black conscious, so he belongs to the domination. So a lot of things I got at first glance. Yeah.
Nah, bro. He's one I definitely recommend out of all the people, bro. Jay Electronica, bro. For me, one of the anyway, why am I getting this? Ain't about music. I keep going
it's not. Music. Let's go back.
This ain't the music show, man. Cool, man. Execution for me. How well was this done? How well was this executed?
Hey, sure,
you know, and there's a thin line here where I guess the big debate is this lazy or is it dope? You know, so execution for me, I lean towards the lazy side. Like, and you gotta understand, bro. As you know, I guess we say this a lot, man. But I love Jay Electronica, bro. But yeah, this execution, I gave it a 5. And actually, I'm gonna move down to a 4. Actually, I think this is a 4 in terms of execution. If you told me that this was put together in 10 minutes, I'd believe you. And I still think it's a beautiful visual, but I'm not, you know what I'm saying? And again, those white on white, you know, I really appreciate that thing of it. But you know, how well was it done?
Ufake iframe wehlisa i-opacity, like the gold frame around the picture.
So yeah, man, I think in terms of execution, it gets a 4. It's, you know what I'm saying? I don't see anyone
not being able. I don't see anybody not being able to do this art piece as soon as they get a Photoshop.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think nice little sweet play around with the color, the mood. I think the mood is one thing that maybe even gives it a 4, because there's a kind of mood they capture.
No.
Definitely.
That's where I agree with you. But I think for the past covers we've actually been reviewing, there's this thing where you kept on saying, which I really enjoyed, is does this piece want you does it inspire you to become a designer? Does it challenge you to take up a machine and check out a tutorial on how to do this?
Sure.
And right now, it doesn't really do that for me. It doesn't inspire me to. Maybe it inspires me to go take a picture, but it doesn't inspire me to now explore its tombe and to say, how can I manipulate this tombe into Photoshop and create an art piece out of it.
Yo, man, I think for the craft, it doesn't do much for the craft, and you know, we're here about the craft. We're here for the craft as well, bro. We're here for that culture side of things. What's your number then?
It's a 3, dog.
3 for execution.
Sure, it's a 3. 3 for execution.
Yeah, man. You know, going a bit hard on Jay Electronica, bro. This is the legend, but no, definitely, I think Jay Electronica, I guess, you know, a lot of the parts they left it to the music here. That's how I feel, man.
Yes.
I think it's a case of, okay, cool. Slap it on, package it. We got music coming. We know the music is up. And I think the surprise was so big in how they, you know, they sets up the whole music for it. So, you know, it is what it is, man. The last thing, in terms of disruptiveness, I'm not even going to play games. For me, this was a 2 out of 10. It's just not a disruptive image. It's too simple. It's a square. You talked about the Instagram. I mean, this is an Instagram image. You know, Jay Electronica, he's a legend. He's a GOAT. You know, he's in my top 10 living dead or alive. I think him, Beyonce, and Jimmy. I'm not sure what they were thinking, but also it's like, I don't really believe there were many of those discussions that took place. And I think the reason to give it a 2 is because the merge that I've seen from it has been quite interesting, man. The merge that I've seen from it has really, really been quite interesting. It's worked out a lot better on some of the merge that I've seen.
Wow, okay. That's dope.
But that has to go at, I'm just like, this will live on because he is such a mythical figure. But you know, it's almost like when you look back at Illmatic, you know, was the Illmatic cover dope, or was that album just so legendary?
Sure. So yeah, fair too. For me, to to be honest with you, I think it's a bit disruptive. For example, me being a Christian, and as soon as I see Islamic drawings on you see, it becomes very it's very out there, it's very forward thinking, and it's very vocal about someone's faith. So for me, it's actually disruptive. It's actually a 5. It's also very unashamed, and in Christian we talk about being
exactly.
We talk a lot about being unashamed of the gospel, and here's a person who's actually put his faith out there first and said, this is who I am, this is what I represent. So I think it's very disruptive. I can see this living in a person who is Muslim's home, because it's actually as a piece, it actually fits in that description of the art itself. So I for disruptive, I say that it's a 5. And also media, also understand when we talk about the Islamic faith, there are very people who are very subtle. You know, so they subtle. They're not all over the show in terms of their art. They're not overbearing. So also them having white on white is exactly part of the personality. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, like it's a 5 for me there.
Yeah, man, I can live with that, bro. And I also like it when you educate me a bit on this. But I think that's some strong points that you pick up there, bro. I think in terms of those are elements you can look at. I think that even the fact that there was almost a bit of a riddle with this in terms of what. So because the top layer, from what I know,
Sure.
it's Jay Electronica, and then the bottom is the album title, right?
Okay.
So it's almost like there were all these little kind of passive but informative little things that they left there for fans to figure out for themselves.
Yeah.
Which is I get to do, I'll stick with my 2 though, because I gotta be a real G about it. But I definitely get your points. And it makes a lot of sense. It's definitely, you're not gonna see somebody especially somebody, even though he's not the most commercial guy. I mean, he has that appeal, or he stands next to. I mean, his cover was shot by Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? And he's featuring JD, so he does have that relationship with the mainstream. And for him to come out unashamed, bars, bro.